Hi everyone, welcome. This is the African Nightcrawler worm bin where during the last check-in 2 weeks ago I started the video by sort of waving around a piece of this red, white, and blue towel over here, and by the end of the video the towel found itself down in the feeding area along with some nice watermelon and cantaloupe melon. And after 14 days I'm definitely curious to see how that piece of beach towel is progressing. We already did two other similar beach towel composting tests in this system. One of them took 45 days till the towel was nowhere to be found. The second test took only 22 days. And today, after 14 days, definitely curious to see what's going on. And at this point, if we pile a whole bunch of stuff like this on here, more cantaloupe as well as an entire banana that I chopped into little round pieces, I think we'll probably be able to keep the interest in the worms hanging around near that towel at a peak maximum. Because I guess that's the thinking that I've had, was to, pretty much douse the towel in stuff that the worms can't resist. So I think besides the watermelon chunks, and then we folded the towel over, and then more melon, cantaloupe chunks, folded the towel over again, and then I think we put some worm chow on there as well. And yeah, I got my worm chow here too again today. So my idea was to keep the party going. I don't recall how deep the towel was, but I'm sure once we encounter it we'll know we've gotten there. See, there's just something to it. You touch a piece of the material and you should be, just combing through a whole bunch of stuff that's all separate material, but you can tell once you get to a larger object that sort of moves as a whole once you get into it. So I could definitely see that the towel is managing to survive. So like a highly trained archaeologist, will peel back some more material to reveal a little bit more of the towel. I guess the thinking here is that if I can avoid helping the breakdown process by being as gentle as possible, then we'll get to really see how long does it take for it to break down without help in the worm bin, other than the help that we give it by loading all kinds of delicious foods onto it to keep the worms coming over there and hopefully working the thing down. So I wasn't expecting to find any leftovers, or many leftovers, of the last meal. I mean, with cantaloupe you're almost always going to find this interesting outer skin, because this stuff is a little bit tougher than the rest, but they eat everything else pretty quickly. I guess after 2 weeks I could have probably expected that we might see a little bit of watermelon rind as well, but I guess it was kind of a toss-up. It was sort of a maybe we will, maybe we won't sort of prediction. So I'm just digging a little bit of a trench down here in the middle so we can get the towel back in here center stage and see if we can possibly be real gentle with it. So that's just more outer skin of the cantaloupe melon, and maybe even a piece of watermelon rind sticking to it. After 14 days, don't forget what I mentioned earlier was that we went into the second composting cotton towel composting test. There was just another chunk of the same exact towel. We went into that just following through on our plan to give the worm its next feeding, and that had been after, I don't know, maybe like today, 14 days or so after the previous feeding, and we found absolutely no signs of it. And that was 22 days after the towel had been placed into the system. Here I was definitely starting to wonder if 14 days could possibly yield some pretty significant results. I think we're still kind of intact here. But I'm reminded now of a strategy that we employed. I believe it was on the last cotton towel composting test, which was not to fold it over. making me wonder, why did we decide to fold the whole thing over? Because it seems to me now, if we leave it unfolded, then there's no pieces of cotton towel that are sort of protecting any of the other bits of the towel right nearby it. So, we tried to see if we could maximize the advantages that this towel test had over previous towel tests, down to, I believe, dampening the towel pretty thoroughly with my sprayer bottle, which was something we'd not done in the past. I believe in the past we'd always just thrown the towel in dry, so we imagined that perhaps a pre-soaked towel would enable the material to become welcoming for worm traffic right away. And, well, I guess if we were to do it again, that would be one option, would be to, not fold it over the way we did last time. We'll just leave it open, just the way I have it here. We'll drop the new foods on top. Before we do, maybe we'll give the entire surface of the towel a nice sprinkling with the worm chow. If they come for the worm chow, it'll be hard for them to avoid the cotton, if you ask me. And besides coming for the worm chow, what if we were to spread out a whole bunch of delicious banana and more cantaloupe for them? And once again, the towel is just going to happen to be there. So we'll have to see. So today, 14 days. Gosh. If we were to come back here 8 days, it would be 22 days. The amount of time that we returned to the last cotton towel composting test and found nothing. Although more recently my intervals between feedings have been closer to 2 weeks. I suppose we could always make a little bit of an exception just out of curiosity, so as to possibly return in here in time to catch the demise of this towel, or perhaps at least, observe one or two little itsy bitsy pieces of it. And then we'd be able to predict that it would probably be gone in its entirety within a couple days, perhaps giving us a somewhat more accurate time frame as to how long it can get done in. But yeah, I think if we had done this test by just laying it all out instead of folding it all over on top of itself, we might have actually been in for a better result. So whatever, it's day 14 now of the cotton towel composting test. It does seem like it's coming along pretty good. Although the towel is definitely still holding together, I would definitely be, careful with the thing, because it is super, super fragile. I think I did put a couple little tears into it here and there, which I guess wasn't too surprising either. But that's okay. The material out here on the edges is very nice. I was kind of curious to see what it would be like as far as moisture goes. You might remember when we uncovered this system, it's covered with a sheet of newspaper, then a sheet of cardboard. So there are times when that's just not enough. You really want to protect the system from drying out due to evaporation, so you cover with plastic. But I think here, the texture of the material everywhere, even out on the outer edges, is nice. It's got a nice moisture content. There's worms in it. And I think we could just continue as is without any reason for concern. This to me looks like the stem of a pepper. I think I'll just get it below the surface a little bit so it can remain as damp as possible so that the worms can keep working it. And no fresh coffee or coffee filter today, but luckily the coffee filter that we used last time is still holding out well enough to get just reused and continue as our feeding zone indicator to show us where we last fed. So what do? Do I shuffle my timetables? Do I come in here a little bit sooner? I could see doing that. Just to see how that towel's doing. Maybe, get this system back in the line, cut in, come in a little sooner than the rest just to see what's happening, and maybe we'll catch that towel in its last throes of being eaten by the wormies. So that's it for the video, everyone. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, as always, please don't forget to leave me a quick thumbs up before you go. That's always really appreciated. And if you haven't done so already, please also consider subscribing to the channel. That's very much appreciated as well. All right, everyone, have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye now.